Hello, welcome to our series on starting up with Excel. Series for beginners who've never used it before. Hope this will help you learn how to use Excel and expand your knowledge. Excel is a program from Microsoft, part of Microsoft Office. And on your computer desktop or in your menu, you'll see a little icon like this green X here. Just double click it and you can start up Excel. This is typically what you see when you first start Excel. If you're not opening a file, you can choose from one of these formats. Typically, you'll start with a blank workbook. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a file that I've already started to work with. That way I have some data in there to show you how to do some things. Now, all Microsoft Office programs come with what's called a ribbon. It's across the top here, and that contains the functions that you'll use to help you create your document or your spreadsheet. Above the ribbon are different words which used to be a menu. Inside the Office, they are called tabs. As you click on each tab, the functions that are below in the ribbon will change. There'll be functions related to the title of the tab. Now, Home is a little different than the rest of the tabs. It contains a number of what Microsoft considers to be the most commonly used functions in the other tabs. So all these functions you'll find in the other tabs, but because they're the most common, they're all organized under Home. As we look across the ribbon, you can see that we have normal functions of almost any computer, copy, cut, paste format. And next to it, we have controls for your font, how your lettering looks, what size it is. Then the way to arrange those fonts, center it left or right, turn it at an angle. You can control what the cells do, how they look, whether you merge some together. A couple other functions over here that help make things a little bit easier as you create your spreadsheets. We'll start here. Down here, these rectangles, they're called cells. Each cell has a reference number. As we highlight a cell, we can see the reference number up here in the top left change. Those reference numbers up there, A4, B6, E10, they refer to the labels at the end of the columns and rows. Columns are headed by letters, rows are headed by numbers. So if we highlight a cell, we can see that its label is A1 and what the contents of the cell are over here. Now, I know you can just look at the cell and see those contents, but sometimes you'll pick something that is not a number, but a function, a formula. And while looking out here, you can see the number, which is the result of a formula. When you highlight it, then you'll see the formula itself. For instance, if I highlight this column of numbers, one of the most common things we do with a column of numbers is we add them up. Here's a quick function up here in the upper right called Autosum. We just highlight the numbers we want to Autosum. We click on Sum, and there at the bottom is the total of those numbers. Now you see I can highlight it. We can see there's a 91 in there, but if we look at the contents of the cell up at the top, you see the formula that Excel automatically put in there when you told it to Autosum. You can actually type this formula in yourself. If we go to the cell below, we type an equal sign. That tells it that, hey, I'm about to give you a formula. We tell it sum, and then we tell it what we want to sum. For instance, we want to sum a range of numbers, and I can tell it to reference the label for those cells. For instance, C1. You can see how it's highlighted up there when I type C1. Put a colon in there that says this is going to be a range. Start with number 1 and go all the way down to whatever I tell you to go to, and then total those up. So I'm actually going to go down here to C14. You see when I click on it, it automatically puts in the C14. I could have typed it, but I clicked on it and it filled it automatically. And it shows me C1 to C14, and it shows me on the table what's highlighted. That's what's included in this formula. I finish the formula off with the parentheses, press enter, and we can see that we get the result of 182. If I click on it to highlight it, I see the sum that I typed in. Right above it, you can see the sum that Excel automatically put in when I asked it to Autosum. And that is how formulas work. You'll see the results in the cell and you highlight it or just look at it. But when you do highlight it, up above you get the actual contents of the cell. Let's take a quick look at these letter entries over here on the right. You can see I just typed the alphabet in there real fast. And we can control how that looks by, for instance, we go up here to the font. I can change the font to anything you have installed on your computer already. I can change the size of that font, make it bigger or smaller. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And you can see how Excel will automatically make the size of the cells larger to accommodate the new larger font. I can also choose to use my mouse to make the fonts bigger or smaller. If I click on the big A, it gets bigger. If I click on the small A, it gets smaller. I can colorize the fonts. Remember, I've got it highlighted. Whatever I'm doing acts on whatever I have highlighted. So if I look at the color underneath the letter, put my mouse over it, it tells me, hey, that's a font color. Whatever you do, whatever color you choose here, will change the color of your font. Now to use this function, you need to pick your color first. So if I use the down arrow, I can choose any color I want. And then if I come over here to the color underneath the paint bucket, I can pick a different color, and that applies to the background. Be careful of your colors. They can be difficult to read if you choose the wrong colors. While highlighting these letters, I can also choose how they're aligned in the cell by using the alignment functions. It's already left justified. I'm going to make this a little easier to see. Then we can tell that I can click on center justify, it goes to the center, right justify, it goes to the right. I can also make it bolder, and I can make it italic, all with easy single clicks. All right, that's just the start. Now you know how to enter numbers into cells, enter formulas, and control how your font looks. Visit us again for additional videos in this series, Getting Started with Excel. Thanks for listening.